again, this is Building Bridges for America. This is our How to Be Politically Active course. This is how to listen to, and engage your network. This is our foundational course for Building Bridges. We have 8 courses, and this is the foundational course because Building Bridges is founded on relational organizing. So this is a relational organizing foundational course that we then, like I said, build the rest of our courses on. So this course is for everybody. If this is your first time doing more than voting, welcome. This course will be for you. If you are an organizer or a volunteer, super volunteer, then this course could both help you out and help you get other people to be politically active as well. All right. So for those in the Zoom room and even on the Facebook Live, if you're out there, we recommend that you use the chat feature because you are in a room full of like-minded people from all across the country, and that is pretty awesome to see this energy, see this excitement from all across the country for Democrats this early. I mean, it's before the convention, it's beginning of August 1st. So, so like I said, you're in this fantastic room of like-minded people. So go ahead and say hi. Let us know where you are joining us from. You know, Building Bridges, we've had participants from every single state in the nation. So we love to see who is in the room with us tonight. And to start off, we like to just reaffirm what those core values are that we all share in this room. So first of all, since we're Democrats believe that the economy should work for everyone, that healthcare is a right, our diversity is our strength, and democracy is worth defending. So hopefully that all resonated with everybody in this room, that those are core values for yourself as well. And then we're coming to you where we are building bridges for America. We formed back in March of 2020, following the primary campaigns for 2020. We actually spun out of the presidential campaign of Pete Buttigieg. So Pete rooted his campaign in relational organizing, and when Pete dropped out, we wanted to keep that going. We wanted to keep it going for Joe Biden. We wanted to keep it going for down ballot candidates. Part of what we did is we founded these 8 courses that you are part of. So they were developed during Pete's campaign, but we really brought them to life and broadened them out after his campaign. And we still uphold Pete's rules of the road. If anybody was part of his campaign and remembers the rules of the road, we still uphold those. So hopefully here tonight you will see reflected a sense of respect, belonging, truth, teamwork, boldness, responsibility, substance, discipline, excellence, and my favorite one, joy. So I hope you see that reflected here, both by us and then the other people that are joining us in the room today. A couple friendly norms. We're going to ask everyone to stay muted just because this many people in the room, it just helps keep down on that background noise. Throw those questions as we're coming along out there in chat. Number one, you got a lot of fantastic people in this room. They might be able to help you out. And I'm not here alone. I got 2 co-pilots here with me tonight. I got Jenny Okamoto and Terry Mumford. So they are going to help you out in chat so they can answer questions. And then we'll stick around at the end if anybody wants to stay after that hour to answer questions. My name is Kaz Bargana. I use she, her pronouns. If you can't see the screen right now, I'm a 46-year-old white woman, and I am coming to you from my house, from my home office in South Bend, Indiana. I'm not going to talk a lot about myself because we got a lot to get through, but I do want to let you know I'm a volunteer. I'm a volunteer on campaigns. I volunteer for a local party. I volunteer with grassroots, obviously. Building Bridges is a nationwide grassroots group. So I got my foot in kind of all 3 different channels of political organizing, and I do so as a volunteer. With Building Bridges, I mentioned before that we have 8 courses that we teach that we've been teaching since 2020. These are political organizing classes aimed at volunteers. So specifically for volunteers, by volunteers. So you're in our foundational course, as I mentioned before. So we got 3 courses on how to talk with voters. We have those conversations with voters. 3 courses on how to grassroots organize. And then 2 courses, very important courses on civics. So hopefully you can join us for those. We're here every Thursday. And except for the Thursday of the convention, we are not competing with Ms. Harris. No way. So we will not be having it that Thursday, but otherwise you'll find us here every Thursday doing one of these courses. We like our courses to be accessible. So we offer our courses both in these live sessions, and then we record it. So there's videos out there for a video of each course. We got the slides available for you to use, and then workbook versions. So workbook versions, step by step. You'll see we'll be talking a lot about step by step how to be politically active. The workbooks allow you to take that information and then do it on your own time. Also to share with others. If you're part of a campaign, a local party, all of our stuff is open source. Go ahead, take it, do whatever you want with it. Share it, get it out there however you like. So again, let's dive in to how to be politically active, how to listen to, and engage your network. First, I'd like to open it up with a question. Ask everybody, what does it mean to be politically active? You hear that word, I'm politically active. What does that mean? Anybody want to throw out in chat what they think it means to be politically active? To be involved in politics? I see that one. Jenny, do you see any others? Oh, let me see. To be
there's a lot here. We've got a lot of people. So to be engaged, to be informed,
yeah,
to be knowledgeable about the issues and pursue policy changes.
I get it.
Yeah.
The issues, love that. I love the do more than just vote. I say that all the time for people who do more than vote, to be engaged. Yeah, people are on it. You guys are on it. Great to be engaged in the political process, all of that. Like I said, you guys are on it. So there are a lot of different ways that you can be politically active. So I like to call it swim lanes. There's like 3 swim lanes for political action. You can be an advocate, somebody who is an activist, an organizer, who is a civic leader in community leader. So you can be an advocate for change and for good governance. You can work in elections. So those are your campaigns, your volunteers. Clearly we're in election season. So that's where a lot of us are putting our energy right now. And you can also go into policy. So policy is you know, the written laws that's how government actually works. So you can be a watchdog, so you can watch and see what the government is doing. You can be an expert to help lawmakers write better laws. So there's different swim lanes to get involved in. And kind of the groups that then fall into those different swim lanes. You have grassroots. Grassroots, again, we're building bridges is a grassroots group. It could be volunteer based or it's just built from the ground up. And their main thing is that they bring in a lot of people. They have resources. They share a lot of resources. The fun thing about grassroots is they're like little startup companies. They can run really fast and loose. They don't have as many regulations, and they're just going all the time, right? So your grassroots works all the time. Then you have campaigns. So you can put your foot in the campaigns swim lane, where you're a volunteer helping during an election. Election cycles or campaign cycles usually last between 3 and 9 months. So kind of short-term goals. And the main thing that campaigns do, they're always looking for volunteers and they're always looking for fundraising. We're always looking for dollars. Unfortunately, it does cost money. If anybody's run a campaign, you know, it costs money to run a campaign. So they're always doing fundraising. And then you got the third swim lane is the Democratic Party. So this is the infrastructure, building the infrastructure of Democrats across the country. Of course, then they're also focused on fundraising again, anything dealing with infrastructure, people, all of that's going to cost money. And they got those long-term goals. So when you're thinking that I want to be politically active, oftentimes people will think about campaigns. But there are other ways that you can be politically active as well. Like you said, you can be helping out with grassroots, you can be helping out with the Democratic Party, or you can be a crazy person like me and you can do all three. So you can pick how you want to be politically active. But no matter what interests you, whether it's advocacy, whether it's working for the party, no matter what interests you, everything always starts with you. And that passion that you have in your heart that brought you here today. So somehow you had something in your guts telling you to do more than vote, as someone mentioned what politically active it means to them, to do more than vote. So what brought you here today, what makes you want to be politically active, makes you want to take part in a campaign, makes you want to be part of the party, whatever that is, that passion that you have in your heart, that's the most important thing. The other important thing that you bring to politics is the people that you know. So you have a network of people around you that you can listen to, and that then they will also listen to you. So there's a network there, and it's a unique network. We all have a unique footprint. So it is a unique network that each of us have. And then you have a superpower right now, is that you have a superpower in being able to speak with those people that you know and have them listen. They're more likely to listen to you. They're more likely to be open to hearing something new if it's coming from someone that they know. And then you also have that superpower where you can make them feel heard and listened to. You can ask and find out what is important to them, what's going on in their lives, and you can make that connection between what is a concern of theirs and then the campaigns and to the party. So that is your unique superpower. And then there's what I call the magic. The magic is harnessing that superpower and then sharing that information, getting it out of your head, sharing that information with a campaign. So that is being organized, taking that information, sharing it with campaigns, sharing it with the party. So campaigns and the party can be more organized in how we go about and win elections. So that's what we're going to cover here tonight. First, you will learn how to tell your story. So your story is personal to you. It's authentic to you. That's the most important thing, that it is authentic to you. And you want to be ready when it's your turn to speak, when it's your turn to share why that passion is in your heart. You want to be able to articulate why you care. Then we're going to talk about how to make that list of your network, make a list of those people that you know, so you can be organized as we go through, as we march towards our November election. We can all be organized and together, and we can also uphold our values by including everybody. We want to include everybody, not just the traditional people that get involved in politics. Everyone deserves to be heard. Everyone deserves to be part of our democracy. So making that list is a good way for us to make sure that everybody is included. And next, you want to listen, but not just listen. You want to do something called active listening. So you want to actively listen to people that you know. So that way you can be open, you can be helpful, and then you can build trust. So we're going to talk about the principles of active listening. And finally, then we're going to engage with others, engage with people. So using that personal story and sharing it with them and inviting others to come along with us. Because we want to welcome others to join us, as you know, the famous line of, you know, there is no cavalry, we are the cavalry. So we need to build that cavalry, each one of us. So again, we'll go say that we are going to first learn how to tell your story. Second, we're going to list your network. Third, actively listen. 4, engage others to join us. We got some scribbles on the page. I'm going to stop share and reshare and see if that gets rid of them. So sorry, give me half a second. And let's see if I can reshare. Does that look good? Scribbles are gone. All right, good. All right. So first of all, if you are waiting for somebody to give you permission to start organizing and talking to people that you know, I have good news for you. You now have that permission granted to go out there and start talking to people you know about this upcoming election and why you are so excited about this upcoming election. Maybe excited, maybe nervous, maybe scared, whatever that feeling it is, you can go out there and you can share that with others and let people know what you're doing. Let people know, hey, you know, you got a cheat code for tonight. Hey, I went to this how to be politically active class, right? So share to people what you are doing to because you are so excited and you're so ready for this upcoming election. So you now have that permission to go do that. And now you have a job. Your job is to organize the people that you know. You don't have to wait for anybody to give you a list of people. You have that list right now. We're going to show you tonight how to tips on how to make that list. But yeah, your job is to organize those people you know, make a list, speak to each one of them, find out where each person is at politically. Those people that are going to vote for Democrats, you're going to help them come and make it to the polls. And you're going to record that data so campaigns can then know that the people that you know are either supporting or not supporting. People that you know that aren't going to support Democrats, we need to know that too. Campaigns need to know that too, so we don't spend money and time knocking on that person's door if they're definitely not going to vote for Democrats. We want to know where everybody is at. So that is your role, is to organize those people that you already know. We're going to start with you. We're going to start with doing a little bit of self-reflection, take a little bit of time before we go out there and start organizing others. We want to be organized within ourselves. So we want to ground ourselves, and we can spend some time looking in the mirror and finding out why this stuff is so important to us and being able to articulate it. But first, I'd like to start with a question. What was the first political action you took beyond voting? So we mentioned being politically active is doing more than voting. Well, think, what was the first political action you took beyond voting? Did you put out a yard sign or put a sticker on your car?
For some people, Donna mentioned this is their first political action.
Oh, love it. I was about to
yes.
say, wow, it would be, you know, everybody's at least doing one thing.
Participated in phone banks. Somebody got involved with the Sandy Hook Promise activities, registering voters, Women's March in 2017. Get out the vote for Bill Clinton. Donating to a political campaign, Harry Dunn, and then Kamala Harris. Poll worker, donating, phone bank. We love our phone banks. Postcards to swing states. Organized a fundraiser for a campaign. Wonderful. Worked on for Ann Richards' campaign. Good Ann Richards. Yeah. Taking classes, applying to be a campaigner. Lots of wonderful things. Absolutely.
Love it. So for each one of those, whether this is being here tonight is the first thing you've done, or if you're this old hat for you, you've been politically active for a long time. Think of that first time that you pushed yourself into being politically active. Think of that very first time. What was that feeling that actually pushed you over? Because there's there's a barrier there, right? It's scary to do things for the first time. It's scary to take that step. So think about what you were feeling at that time that pushed you into either showing up here tonight or that first time that you did something. So that's that feeling that we want to try to be able to speak to every single time, is to harness that, because we're asking more people to take that first step. So it's good for us to put our feet back in the shoes of where we were that first time, or a lot easier, this is your first time tonight, where are your shoes? Where, you're in your shoes right now. But yeah, put your shoes in that time that you did that for the first time. And then that's what we want to talk about when we're doing this reflection activity. So again, we have a workbook version of this, so I'm going to walk through it, but I'm going to go through it very quickly. We have a workbook version to walk where you can walk through these steps at your own pace. So, but I'm going to give you a little preview of how to do that here tonight. So when you look in that mirror and you figure, you want to be asking yourself, why? Why do I care so much? Why do I care so much to come into this room tonight? Why did I care so much that very first time to push myself into being politically active? And the three questions you want to ask, or the first question you ask yourself is, what's at the core? What's in my gut? What is driving me? Those are your core values. Core values are the ones that are in your gut, below just issues. Issues are important. Below, a certain policy. What's in your gut that is really driving you to be here tonight? And then we're going to talk about recalling a time that you really felt that your gut was really screaming at you, that something, pushing you to do something, right? So we're going to talk about how to come up with, how to remember those stories. And then what I call the turn is going from how you feel on the inside to where do you see that feeling reflected in a campaign or a cause that is important to you. So you want to be able to identify where you see that reflected in a campaign, and then talk about what you're doing now. What are you doing right now? Because you feel this, what are you doing now? Why is it so important for you to be taking action right now? So we're going to walk through these a little bit slower. We're going to start with values, core values. You probably hear that all the time, is people talking about their values. Well, what the heck does a core value mean? Well, basically, a value is what you value. So it's some things that are important to you, but I'll go a little bit further into the definition then. It's what is important to you, but it's not morals. Values are not your morals. So it's not what is right and wrong. And values aren't issues or policy. They're below issues and policy. What you want to do is you want to dig down. You think about an issue, like if you think of an issue like income inequality, I hope that economic inequality is important to you, but that is not a core value. A core value is below that. Again, a policy, let's say raising the minimum wage. Again, I hope that is something that is important to you, but that is not a core value. A core value is what is underneath that is telling you that economic inequality, solving economic inequality is so important, that raising the minimum wage is so important. So what you want to do is you think about an issue that you are passionate about, dig down and ask yourself, how does that issue make you feel? What is that feeling that you're feeling, and why? Why do you feel that way? So perhaps when you think of economic inequality, you think it's not fair. Maybe fairness, justice, equity, maybe that's what really drives you. Maybe when you think of economic inequality, maybe you think that, it's my right. Well, that's freedom. Freedom then is really important to you. Maybe it's like we need to care. We need to care about everybody. That's compassion. You have compassion. Each one of us is different, right? Each one of us is different. So it's important to be thinking about what is important to you. When you are speaking with others, when you're coming up with this, you're looking in the mirror, you're looking at yourself. You want to be authentic to yourself, and you want to reflect that out to others. You want to be authentic. So find out what it is for you. I can't tell you what's important to you. I can't tell you what that core value is. You find it for yourself. And this is that exercise that you do. So again, think of an issue, policy that you care about, and then dig down and say, how do I feel and why? And then that's what you want to say, that core value that's underneath. There's a lot of core values. There's a lot of words that when you dig down and you find out why something is so important to you, when you get down to these words, there's a lot of them. This is just a smattering of them. There's a whole lot of values. I like to call these not along words, though. The reason why you want to come up with what is at the core and say what is important to you in your core is that these are things that when you say these are important to you, people are going to nod along, no matter who you're talking to, no matter where they're coming to on the political spectrum. If you say that belonging is important to me, just about anybody that you say that to is going to say, yes, they agree with you. All right. Not everybody you go up to and say, I believe raising the minimum wage is important. They're not all going to nod along. A lot of people will, and that's great. But there's going to be some people that immediately they're just going to tune you out, right? Or immediately it's going to become a debate. But if you go up to them and you say, well, freedom is important to me. Again, at least you're starting off on a common ground. So we call that the common language. And if you need more help finding those core values, like I said, I had a smattering on the screen there. But if you need help finding those right words for those values, I recommend, as a Democratic Party, we do have a platform, and it will say where we stand. I quoted it, kind of the highlights right at the very beginning of that. That we believe the economy should work for everyone. Healthcare is a right. Diversity is our strength. All that stuff. So that's all within the party platform. So the party platform is out there now. It will change after the convention. We'll get a new party platform, but our core values as a party are going to be the same. So yeah, you'll be able to find some good motivation, some good language there in that party platform. Also, if you have a favorite politician out there, somebody that you really admire, take a note of the words that they use, because they're going to be speaking from their values as well. So take a note of those words that they use. And then we talked, once you find out what your values are, you want to then think of a story. A story is a time that you felt those core values. They really pushed and really came to the forefront. I can think of one. I'm in Indiana, so I was very clear the day that Roe v. Wade fell, and then Indiana immediately banned abortion, and I lost my rights, and my kids lost their rights. And that day, that was a real gut punch, right? Real gut punch, real easy to find those values of just saying, I lost my freedom, right? Freedom's important to me. And I woke up with more freedoms than I went to bed with, right? I lost my freedom. So that's a real core one. It's an injustice. It's an intergenerational injustice that I had those rights, that my mother had those rights, and now my daughter does not. That's an injustice, right? So I was angry about that. So that was a very clear recent one for me, that I felt those core values, felt that gut punch of those core values very clearly. And being able to then share that story of how I felt that day, when Roe fell and Indiana immediately took away my rights. I can share that story. That's my story. Nobody can tell me I'm wrong. Right? It's my story. It's how I felt. Those are my feelings. And that's what happened to me. So talking, like I said, finding a story, thinking of a time when you really felt that gut punch of those values in your core. I mean, I could think of another one, January 6th, watching those MAGA whatever's storming the Capitol. And, it's just realizing how important democracy is to me, because as we watched it almost fall, right? So again, sharing those kind of stories is in that you really felt in your gut, those core values. Things to not share, that doesn't mean you can never share them. It's just when you're coming up with this story that you want to be able to speak to anybody, no matter who you're talking to. You don't want to use facts, logic, or morals. And I know that might sound a little crazy, but everybody's different. Everybody comes from, we have different moral systems here in America. So our brains are all wired a little different. So to interpret facts differently, to see logic differently, and then of course, then morality, a sense of right and wrong can be different for different people. So we don't want to use those starting off. And as Democrats, we're pretty bad at that. We love our numbers. Democrats love numbers. We love logic. But if you want to speak from a common language, you want to talk to as many people, have a story that you can relate to everybody, then you want to avoid facts, logic, and morality, and you want to stick with the two things we've already talked about, which is those core values, and then that story of when you felt those core values. So keep it there, and also keep it to people that you know. Don't talk about people in theory. Don't talk about somebody somewhere. Talk about yourself and talk about people that you know. Keep it personal. Make it a personal story. And if you want a script, if you want to go off of a script for how to articulate why you care, here's a script for you. So it starts off with that feelings, right? We all have feelings we all share. So if you say, I feel, excited, I feel nervous, I feel, just fired up, whatever that feeling is, again, everyone feels feelings. So start with those feelings and then say that core value. I feel fired up because freedom is important to me, and I lost my freedoms when Roe fell, and that is why I am supporting Democrats up and down the ballot so we can restore my rights. And I'm going to go to a meetup on Saturday, a Democratic meetup here locally. Do you want to come with me? So have these things, write it out, practice it. Have this script ready to go. So that way, when it's your time to speak, when it's your turn to tell somebody why you are so passionate, you have it ready to go. I like to say stump speeches are not just for candidates, they're for all of us. So have this practiced and ready to go. And now that you have this, and now that you have your stump speech, you're going to fold it up and you're going to put it in your back pocket because we're moving on. We're moving on. Keep that in your back pocket. We are moving on to making a list, of being organized and including everyone that you know. So I like to say relational organizing has two words. Relational is the people that you know, talking with people that you know, and organizing, being organized about it. So keeping that list, making a list of all the people that you know, is how you can stay organized. And then it's also how you can be inclusive. So you can reach people that a campaign can't. I'm working on a campaign right now. We are getting about 30% of doors to open, which is a great percentage of doors to open when we're door knocking, but 30%. So those 70% of people that didn't answer the door, that's your mom, that's your friend, that's your, that's someone that you know. We need you to talk to that person because as a campaign, as organized, as many volunteers as we got, as hard as we tried, we couldn't reach that person, but you can, that person. So again, you want to make a list of everybody that you know, because that is how we can be inclusive. That's how we can talk to everybody. So make that list, because your job then is to make a plan to talk to each one of those people and find out where they are at politically. Are they going to come out to vote? Are they planning on voting? Are they planning on voting for Democrats? Do they need a little persuasion to be to vote for Democrats? Are they absolutely not voting for Democrats? We need to know all of that information, and then tracking that information so then you can share that with the campaign. And then also for yourself, being organized, just knowing where everybody is at. You don't need to keep it all in your head, write it out. And then making a plan to reach out to those people again. That again is your superpower. As a campaign, we will knock on someone's door once. We'll have a few minutes to talk to them if we're lucky. And then we're never going to see them again. But these are your friends. These are people you see all the time. So your superpower is that you can come back around, you can circle back, and you can be talking to people again. So making that list, if you want a primer to help you start making that list, here's one. So start with 3 people that you know who are definitely voting. They vote every time. These are our super voters. These are really core for campaigns. These are the ones that everyone's fighting over. I like to say in political organizing, I call it ones and twos. So twos are for a campaign. We pick up basically 2 votes. If we get somebody who is going to come out to vote and they vote for us rather than the opponent, we just got a +2. And then the ones are the people that if they did come out to vote, they'd vote for Democrats. So we're picking up 1 that way. So those people that are definitely going to come out to vote, those are our twos. Those are the people that we want. You want to be thinking of 3 of those people and putting them on your list. But also very important, because we're Democrats and we care about everybody, is we also want to be thinking about the people that don't vote every time. Maybe you're not even sure if they're registered to vote. Their vote really matters. Their opinion really matters. We want to hear from them too. So think of 3 people you know that you're not even sure if they're registered to vote. And then make life easy for yourself. Put 3 people on the list that are you easiest to talk to. Maybe you're the most closest political friends, people that are the easiest to talk to. I got my 2 right here. I got Terry and Jenny. You'd be first on my list, the easiest to talk to. And then challenge yourself and put 3 people on the list you've never spoken to about politics before in your life. I know it's terrifying, but we're going to talk about how to talk politics without talking politics. So go ahead, put them on there. And then put on there the person that you wish more than anything would support you on your issue. So support a candidate. Give yourself a goal. Give yourself a stretch goal. So you want to make this list, and then you want to write it down. Or you can be cool. You can be really organized, and you can put it right into the app. So the Democratic Party has the app. They're using the Reach app. So I think we have a link to that. So you using that, so it's rather you can write down your list on a piece of paper and keep track that way, or you can put it directly into the Reach app and keep track of everybody that you know that way as well. So again, the power of keeping a list is 1, you're organized. It's not just all in your brain. It's outside of that. 2, you're being organized. You're including everybody. 3, this is your power. This is political power. Any political campaign, any political person, that their political power is their list of their network people that they can reach out to. So this is your political power. So if you do want to start a grassroots group, if you do want to run for office, this list, you're writing down a list and keeping track of it. That is political power. So this keep list, keep organized, because that is power. And also this data that goes then to campaigns. We use this data to make it so our field reaching out to voters is more efficient. If you do, and I hope you do, volunteer on a campaign, maybe for Kamala Harris, to make phone calls or knock on doors, that there's data that is then generating that list that they're handing to you, or the people that are showing up in your phone for you to call in that phone bank. If you already know that that person is 100% definitely voting for Democrats, we do not need to spend time and money convincing them to come out to vote for Democrats, right? So you providing that information, it makes it more easy for campaign, more efficient for campaigns to reach the people that we need to be spending the time reaching out to. Also, if you know somebody is definitely 100% not going to vote for Democrats, let us know, so then campaigns know, and we don't waste any time or money sending people to that person's door. So again, your list and you keeping track, this is data that is super valuable and is so helpful to campaigns going forward. All right, now we're going to turn into active listening. So you got your list. You know what to say. You got your words in your back pocket ready to go. You got your list of people. Now you're looking at that first person on your list, and now you got to go talk to them. And now suddenly you're really scared. That is scary. Now you got to go talk to somebody. You got to talk politics. Oh my gosh. Let's talk about talking politics without actually talking politics. Let's make it really easy for you to have and to start these conversations. And we're going to call that active listening. So we're going to teach you some basic active listening skills for having good conversations. First of all, before you go talking with people, know that the conversation style that you are going to have is going to be very different than what most people think of when they think about talking politics. When most people think talking politics, they think debates. They think two presidential candidates yelling over each other, that's what people think. Most people think of political talk. We do not want you to go out and debate anybody. That's not what you're going to be doing. You are not going to be debating. The other thing that people think of, the other style people think of when they think of political talking politics, they think of a discussion, which is what you see on cable news, where you see the two boxes of heads in the boxes, and they're just talking. They're throwing their talking points back and forth, and then they're going to their corners. We are not asking you to be throwing talking points around. What we're asking you to do is go out and have a dialogue. A dialogue is defined as being open-minded. You go into the conversation open-minded. You go into the conversation curious. You don't assume where that person's coming from. You want to be curious. You want to hear it directly from them. You're focused on listening, not talking. Again, your words are in your back pocket. They're there, but you're going to keep them in your back pocket. You're going to focus on listening. And then you're going to ask questions until you really do truly understand where that person is coming from. We like to say that you want to go into the conversation thinking that I want to understand this person more than I want to be understood. And I know that sounds counterintuitive when we're trying to get people to vote, but vote for Democrats. But by first listening to people and understanding where they're coming from, it's reciprocal. Then they're going to be more willing to listen to you and understand where you're coming from. And then also we want to be I call it growing our empathy muscles for people that might not be as politically active or politically engaged as we are. So our biggest voting bloc in 2016 was not Republicans. It was not Democrats. It was non-voters. Largest voting bloc in 2016 was people who didn't vote. And in 2020, Democrats, we did really well. Democrats became the largest voting bloc in 2020. Our largest then group of people that we could get more votes from was not Republicans. It was non-voters, people who stayed home. So we want to grow our empathy muscles for those non-voters out there and understand where they're coming from. So the common reasons why people do not vote, and I get this from the Knight Foundation, the 100 Million Project, which is based off of that largest voting bloc that didn't vote in 2016. And they found that the most common reasons that people didn't vote, one is they didn't know the candidates. Well, guess what? They know you and you know the candidates, so you can tell them about a candidate that you know, that you like, that you can tell them about it. So boom, there's one candidate on their ballot that you can tell them about and get them excited for. One, they feel their vote will not count. A lot of this is based on the Electoral College. If you are not in a battleground state, people feel like their vote will not count. But we got, that's only for the presidency. We have so many other down ballot races where their vote very much does count. A matter of fact, it can make all the difference. We will have races that come down to a handful of votes. So definitely their vote does count. They feel that that vote won't actually make an impact on our lives. And again, that's where you can make that connection, that time that you felt in your gut, that core value because something happened. Share that with them. Share them what happens, those decisions made in those white buildings, how it actually affected your life and how you really felt it. If people haven't voted before or they haven't voted in a long time, voting actually seems difficult Just knowing who's on your ballot is difficult. Knowing where to go, it's just like if they haven't voted in a while, things might have changed. So just holding their hand and showing them what it actually looks like to vote, what it actually looks like to find out who's on your ballot and do that kind of work, the research to figure it out. And then finally, they think that it takes too long to get information about candidates. I mean, yeah, if you turn on the news, it's like a fire hose of information coming at you. It wouldn't, unless you're prepared to give it a lot of time, that could be overwhelming. So if you can help them with that and, kind of be that helpful filter for them. So in sharing that information or good sources with them. So again, just keep in mind, grow those empathy muscles for people that may not be as politically active as you. And then now you're ready to go talk to them. You got you can see where people might be coming from if they aren't as politically active. And you're going into it wanting to really understand where they're coming from. So to start the conversation, you can start with what we call, you want to start with an open-ended question. And you can start with a very light opener, which is just sharing a personal fact. We all can share a personal fact of, hey, I signed up for this organizing class because I feel like I need to do more in 2024. How are you feeling about this election? Right? So this is how I'm feeling. I'm feeling that, I'm feeling nervous. I'm feeling fired up. Whatever my feeling is, I'm feeling that. And that's why I went to this organizing class. But what about you? How are you feeling about this election? So we're not really talking politics. We're talking about, I took an action. I feel a certain way. I took an action. And how about you? How are you feeling? We're not asking them what their political thoughts are. We just want to know how they're feeling. Or you can use a news item, something timely, and you go to them and just say, hey, I was so excited that Kamala is now the nominee. How about you? What do you think about that? So just these light kind of openers where you're not getting into policy, we're not getting into the weeds, just keeping it really light and just asking people what they think about it. And then the important thing is after you ask that question, no matter what they come back and say, no matter what they come back and say, be open, be curious, smile, and say, tell me more about that. Tell me more about that. That is called active listening. So that is when you're asking an open-ended question and you, no matter what they come back and say, you're not getting defensive, you're not pushing back, whatever they're saying, you're staying open, you're creating that space for them to share. And then you're asking them, tell me more about that. You want to push in, you want them to keep talking, keep sharing what they have to say. Even if they say, I haven't really thought about that. Oh, interesting. Tell me about that. Right? So no matter what they come back and say, tell me more about that, get them keep to talking. That's called active listening. So again, using an open question, or we call it a door opener to open that door and to keep them talking is tell me more about that. Oh, that's interesting. I have a go-to if I ask somebody how they're feeling and they start regurgitating talking points from Fox News, I say, you know what? I think I've heard that one before, but tell me what it means to you. Right. So have these things ready to go. So active listening, this isn't anything new. This is this way of having these open-ended questions and getting people to keep talking. This isn't anything new. This is the old way of having dialogues. We've just sort of lost it over time. So we want to bring that back. We want to bring back good dialogue, bring back curiosity, bring back good listening skills to politics. It's new for people, and we can kind of take advantage of that. When people push, let's say they push their views on you, they push their talking points on you, they're looking for you to push back. Again, they're looking for a debate, they're looking for a discussion. When you don't give that to them and instead you say, tell me more about that. Oh, that's interesting. Tell me more about that. You're creating this whole new space. They're in a whole new place. They've never been asked this before. Right? So it's very effective for, like you said, creating a real dialogue, a real space for understanding. This active listening guide is out there in the workbook. It was actually, we used this during Biden's campaign in 2020. It was created by, this was something that was used by a volunteer who, she worked her whole career as a nurse, who had to call patients and tell them that they need to make these huge changes to their lifestyle in order to save their own lives because of their diagnosis. So if that works for her, if these techniques work for her to get that person to change their lifestyle, then it's going to work to get people to vote for Kamala Harris. So so again, these are out there in the workbook. I'll go through just a couple of them. First of all, you want to avoid distraction when you are actively listening. You want to set your intention to listening, showing that you're setting your intention to listening. Don't have your phone out. Don't have the dog barking. Really, you're just focusing on that person. You want to be paying attention to what they are saying. That means that you are not listening to what they're saying and trying to come up with a rebuttal, because again, this isn't a debate. You are listening to what they're saying and you're trying to find something where you guys have a connection. You're trying to find something where you can say, oh, me too. You want to really understand where they're coming from, to the point that you can find something that you have in common. So like I said, these are very good habits to get into, to make people feel heard, really understand where they're coming from. And then once you feel like you understand where that person is coming from, once you feel like they're there, that's when you pull out your homework from your from your pocket, right? That's when now you're ready to engage. You've listened to that person. You've given them the microphone. You understand where they're coming from. Like I said, that's going to be reciprocal. Now they're more likely, when you speak, they're more likely to listen to you, and they're more likely to work and try to understand you. So you've already come up with your script that, no matter who you're talking to, it is going to resonate with everybody, right? So you're going to start with that feeling. I feel determined because freedom is important to me. My right to control my body will be restored when we elect more Democrats. So that's why I support Kamala and Democrats all the way down the ballot. And I'm going to this Democratic meetup on Saturday. Would you like to go with me? Again, have it out. And that person more likely to listen to me because I've already listened to them. A couple little tips is, if you are afraid of going into these conversations because you're afraid that you are going to encounter tension between you and the person that you are talking to. Again, first things first, fight your instinct to defend yourself. So if you're afraid that it's going to create tension and that person is going to, say something that is going to make you want to defend yourself, fight that instinct to defend. And again, you want to then say, tell me more about that. If you feel like you are just grounding that person further into their beliefs, it actually it actually does the opposite, is by making them get beyond those talking points and really thinking and feeling for themselves. For many people, it's the first time that they've actually had to articulate why they care. And yeah, make them think and feel for themselves. I like to say, don't assume where people are coming from, make them say it. I think Kamala said the other day about something her disgusting opponent said is, say it to my face, right? Make them say it, make them say it aloud. Just don't let it go assumed. Make them say it, and also get them thinking and feeling for themselves, because just because they've heard it on Fox News doesn't mean they actually believe that in their heart. So find out what it is. Don't assume they have hate in their heart. Make them say it. Another big one is, you want to be validating people's feelings. There's a lot of feelings going on right now. There's a lot of emotions out there right now. And I like to say, feelings are not to be fixed. Feelings are to be felt. So take a moment to feel those feels with people. That's going to go a long way for the candidate that you are supporting, the party, to support the Democratic Party, for you to just be there with people as they are feeling these feels. So validate those feelings, because yeah, feelings aren't right or wrong. They're just feelings. They just want to be felt. And again, stay away from theory, stay away from talking about someone somewhere. Keep it personal, keep it right home. We want to be bringing these issues and these policies home for people. So keep it personal, keep it home. And then the big thing I like to say is it's just politics. Your relationship with that person is very important. So give yourself permission to walk away. Also, your safety is important. So if you're out knocking doors and stuff like that, always give yourself permission to walk away. Like I said, we're just talking politics, man. And then you're talking with people that you know. The one of the superpowers you have when you're talking with people that you know is that you get to bring it up again. You don't have to, at a door, come up and do it all at once. You can just touch on this over time. You can do things like we call plant little seeds. Maybe just the first time that you talk to people, you just let them know that, oh my gosh, there is like this weight lifted off of your shoulders. You are so excited now about Kamala Harris. Just say that. Just say, I mean, it's true. I mean, when she got announced, the weight just woof, right off my shoulders. That's a real thing. I want to tell people about that, right? So I can just mention that and just see where they're at. We can come back around. I can mention politics again another time. I also like to say, if you're the most political person that you know in your life, I know I am. I do not want anyone to see me coming and say, "Up here comes Kaz. She's going to talk politics." Right? That means they're immediately going to put their earmuffs on if they don't want to hear from me. So you want to be talking about the other things that you have in common with that person. The reason why you have a relationship, you have other things that you have in common. You want to be talking about those as well. Like I say, politics is just a natural, normal part of our lives. So you want to be talking about all the things that you want to be talking about. Hey, I'm so excited. End of this month, first Notre Dame game. I'm so excited for that. We're going to talk about that. Then we're going to come over here and we're going to talk about politics and how I'm so excited about Kamala. And then we're going to go over here and then we're going to talk about the weather. Right? So again, politics, natural, normal part of our lives. So just plant those seeds over time. And let's say you're talking to somebody you've never talked politics to before, and it is the best political conversation you've ever had in your life. They are so fired up. They're right there with you guys. It's just the best. No matter what, limit that political speech to just 20 minutes. You change the subject, you brought it up, change the subject back to, again, something that you guys have in common. Keep those bonds going. Again, politics, just natural, normal part of our lives. And then finally, the most important thing for people like me who work on campaigns, do field for campaigns, keep track of who you're talking to and what they're saying. So write those people down and write down where they're at politically. If you're talking to somebody and you determine, oh, this person's definitely voting for Democrats, write that down. If you're saying, oh, they're still trying to figure it out, write that down. Or if they're definitely, this person's MAGA all the way, write that down. And then you want to share that with those campaigns. You want to be ready to share it with campaigns. Whether or not you're writing that down on a piece of paper and walking into a campaign office and handing it to somebody, or you're using the Reach app. Either way, you want to do that work and then get credit for it. Get it out from between your ears and into a way that it can help campaigns, help us win elections. So those conversations that you're having are great to get that person to come out to vote, but it's even better if then the campaigns then know about it. So again, be ready to share that information with the campaign. So I highly recommend everybody can use the Reach app. It's nationwide. Everybody can use the Reach app. So I recommend that. Maybe locally have different ones. Here in North Central Indiana, we're using a tool called Rally. So there might be other tools, other ways, but the Reach one is for everybody. So again, using that Reach app. So use that story, help us to elect Kamala and Democrats up and down the ballot by going to democrats.org /reach. All right, so that's the end.